Welcome to the Circles USA January 2024 webinar. I will be your host today, Kamatara Johnson, your Executive Director, and just some housekeeping details. Of course, this is being recorded, and we will share this shortly in FreeCamp, which is our online learning library. And I would love for y'all to take a moment to say hi in the chat, let people know where you're zooming in from. And if you feel really inspired, we'd love for you to share a new and good. That is one of our community building protocols where we share one thing that is both new and good in our life, just a nice little phrase or sentence, and is a great way for all of us to be connected. So go ahead and open up your chat and share where you're coming in from and a new and good. I think that my new and good is this moment right now. Just thinking back on what a successful year we've had in 2023 and planning for even more in 2024. It's just so exciting. So thank you for all that you have contributed to our success and for sharing this time together to reflect back and to dream forward. And I do want to give appreciation to any of you who are joining us for the very first time. Perhaps you're a brand new Circles community, or maybe you're just checking out what is up with Circles USA and thinking about having Circles come to your community. It's great to know where we're headed. So thank you for giving your time. Circles has been building community to end poverty for 25 years now. So you're with us at a very exciting time. So let's get started by looking back on 2023, and thank you for continuing to share in the chat. I love those new and goods are just beautiful. And oh my goodness, we have people from coast to coast. So very grateful that you all are here. So our 2023 theme was deepening and expanding circles, which we took very seriously last year. We did deepen and expand our understanding of what is circles and how we function and who we are and all of that. We expanded our chapter supports and activities and partnerships in 2023 as well. We strengthened our new regional coach structure and beefed up our support calls, the content in those calls and the connections. And we also really recognized ourselves as a teaching organization. So we're using that framework to really guide us in how we support you. In fact, I really wanted a new organizational map to try to capture how we function as an interdependent being, that we have this really special collaboration that brings forth the most important information as Circles USA listens to you, how to improve and what is needed and what innovations you have test driven and what works. So you can see we've got our 4 regions of our community of practice, and then we've got, what is the center of each, and our advisory council that really is that cross sector of all the spaces informing us. Like, we're so connected in that way. So I love this visual representation. And really, Circles USA lives in that paradoxical space of being the expert, not expert. Like, yes, 25 years of history in the anti-poverty arena, absolutely. And also knowing that we don't know, that you know your communities best and you know your people best. So we're these interconnected circles that impact each other, not really a top-down hierarchy. This is the led from within, mutually symbiotic way of our organizational culture. So I hope that's been your experience of working with Circles USA and our precious and very generous community of practice. This is how our organization stays relevant, deepening and expanding and living on that pioneering edge of the anti-poverty arena, informed by those closest to the challenge as we all create together what Circles is. And we know that that's a different kind of posture for a national organization or a federated nonprofit that has chapters. It's a different kind of posture. And so just as you walk alongside, your community members walk alongside your circle leaders, we are with you all along the way. So obviously we succeed when you succeed, like you've got this and we've got you. We accompany you and your community and your champions to lead this initiative the best way that you know how. So we're here to help you shine and your community get amazing results. So here are just 3 examples of great successes out of dozens upon dozens of chapter success stories. In fact, we could have had a whole slide presentation of nothing but chapter successes. But we're just so thrilled with the way that we all work together and the success that does come from that posture that we are your accompanist walking alongside you. So keep your eyes peeled for the 2023 impact report that will be coming out shortly. We're so excited to see the data and to see even more things to celebrate. In fact, in 2023, we expanded into 25 states in our 25th year, so that is an exciting milestone. And we do have some pilot sites that are working with Scott Miller, our founder, in Tennessee and in Maryland. They're working with Scott and with Circles. And then we also have some chapters that are attempting to grow into that arena of a poverty alleviation system. So we're learning all that we can from these particular sites and just seeing that coast to coast spread of chapters, it's a very exciting turning point for us. And each year, of course, we have some chapters who say goodbye and some chapters who join us. And to just let you know, I like to play with our card space up here. On average, about 5 chapters per year say goodbye. And the reason, I'd say the biggest reasons that happens is that there's a shift either in their funding or there's a shift in their leadership. It could be like a new board or a new lead organization or different like staff turnover. There's some kind of shift. So we just want to take a moment to honor the folks in Grand Rapids and Riverton and Charleston and St. George and Miami. Just huge blessings to them and the work that they're continuing to do with their beautiful communities. Loved being with them. And we're saying hello to, in 2023, 3 more chapters in the Tennessee pilot. Corpus Christi, I know you're in the house. Hello, Isabel, glad you're here. And we've got Medford, Massachusetts, and Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Lexington Park, Maryland, and San Diego. And then kind of an interesting scenario, Circles Opelika got a new lead organization, and instead of folding, they've redoubled their efforts. Maybe you met Dr. Dunlop at the conference. Amazing person, amazing organization. So Circles Opelika shifted from a location to a chapter. So we're just thrilled with the results this year. Wonderful. And we had many wonderful connections with you all in coaching calls, data calls, online trainings, webinars, Freed Camp, which is our online learning library, the support calls. So, we are here to support you no matter where your chapter is, whether you are just building the infrastructure so you can launch, or you're serving your first cohort of circle leaders, or you've got multiple locations, or you're expanding. That's what we're here for. We're thrilled to support you and supporting you to support each other, which is a beautiful thing about Circles. Also, last year we got to experience the advisory council to the board for the full year of 2023, and it was so important. It's an amazing cross-section of allies, staff, volunteers, circle leaders that all come together. And as Jennifer Pellinger, our board member, shares with us, the conversations had huge impact, not only for the board, but also for the national office. So I can't thank you all enough who served on our advisory council. We know it's essential for our leadership to listen to its people. So thank you for all that you shared. In fact, the board and the national office and the advisory council worked to review our languaging and how we express what we do and how we do it. So our enhanced mission, vision, and core concepts are just fantastic. I just want to take a moment to sit with them. Our mission is building community to end poverty through intentional friendships, personal transformation, and systemic change led by the people closest to the challenge. And I love our vision. All individuals live in equitable, thriving communities where poverty no longer exists. Oh, just gives me chills. Very excited about that. And for our core concepts, the one of the circles that we shifted was the bottom left. It used to say foster empowerment. Empowerment can be a tricky word because everyone inherently has power. I can't give you power, although I can help you remember the power that is within. So I get that. So we tried to just make it more specific that we are here to promote equity and autonomy, that people have access, that all people can participate in and reach the American dream, their dreams. So promote equity and autonomy seemed like a better fit. And we had a generous grant from the Suha Foundation to continue to produce important videos, such as our Cliff Effect Primer video, to give people a ground floor understanding of one of the #1 reasons folks stay trapped in poverty. So that's an excellent primer video you're welcome to use as you go out and speak to folks about the Cliff Effect. We also released our weekly meeting video that was filmed at Circles Salt Lake. So thank you, Circle Salt Lake, for being just beautiful hosts for that video. We know that weekly meetings are the vehicle through which we support each other and build community to end poverty. So we appreciate being able to show people what we do and how we do it. So both of those videos are on our YouTube channel. And welcome for your learning and welcome for your use, any which way that you can leverage those. Also, I want to give a shout out to our national Big View team. We have been meeting monthly, and what a powerhouse team. We have been gathering best practices and resources related to the Cliff Effect, pulling together a one-pager. It's getting close, where we could expand on that Cliff Effect video. How do we offer actionable steps for mitigating the Cliff Effect? What are the talking points for community members, employers, policymakers? So we're trying to get together some powerful resources for the chapters. And also, as we continue to meet monthly to finish that one pager, we're also going to be directing our 2024 civic engagement activities. 2024 is a pretty big year. So 2023 really poured an excellent foundation for the work we're continuing to do in 2024 related to systemic change. In fact, I would love to see, huge get out the vote or your vote count campaigns in 2024 and, the candidate forums and all the things that we do that Circles is skilled in doing in a nonpartisan way. And then once our elected officials are in office, to really hold them accountable. And it would be exciting to consider in 2025, who has a legislative session? What do we do with that? Could we coordinate that more? Well, we're working up to that. We'll see what we can do. But 2023 really poured a good foundation for the work we're doing now. And many of you got to attend our leadership conference. In fact, go ahead and give a shout out in the chat. Did you have a favorite moment at the conference? I would love for you to put that in the chat. Oh, it was just a beautiful conference in Orlando, Florida, hosted by Poverty Solutions Group, St. Luke's United Methodist Church, and Circle Central Florida. We learned so much from each other and our partner organizations who presented, and you still can check out the videos, the PowerPoints, the handouts. They are all in Freed Camp if you'd like to revisit those important topics and best practices. And here's some interesting statistics about, how many people and the ratings on the breakout sessions. And I want to shout out, I appreciate so much how our community of practice supports each other in learning like we did at that conference, that we provided the breakout sessions for each other, and we shared innovations and best practices and explored new ideas together. And of course, my favorite, other than seeing you all in person, and hugs for everyone. Oh, my face hurt for a week. I was smiling so much. But okay, that aside, my favorite was experiencing two new conference traditions. And the first one was starting our conference with the keynote addresses from circle leaders. Carmen, Tim, and Annette just rocked our souls on that first day. So inspiring, not a dry eye in the house. And then John and Rebecca shared even more on the second day. So we just know that we have to stay grounded in why we are doing what we are doing, and to keep it real, not to be academic, but to really listen to people closest to the challenge and the folks with the lived experience. We know this is at the heart of how and why Circles works. So thank you to our brave circle leaders who helped to start this new tradition and set the bar very high. We also celebrated chapters who are 10 years or older with a new award, the Longevity Award, which gave a lot of hope to the younger chapters and honored the commitment of our veteran chapters to sustain their work over the years. So we really look forward to our next conference in October of 2025. Maybe your chapter might be the host site. Make sure you let me know if you want to do that. In addition to the conference, we did have many informative webinars in 2023, but I do have to say my favorite was in November when we learned more about being a healthy nonprofit. So Lisa Spector Dunway from Circles RVA, shout out to Richmond, Virginia. Lisa Spector Dunway is a nonprofit coach, and she facilitated this webinar about the life cycles of a nonprofit. So it's definitely worth viewing if you haven't already seen it. It's in Free Camp, Project 10 webinars, November 2023. Check it out. It's really important at a local level to consider the organizational health of your chapter. And then it was also really interesting for Circles USA to think, where are we, especially as we're celebrating our 25th anniversary? Because just in my 5 going on 6 years with Circles, I know that I have experienced our shift from being in constant startup mode to that growth phase where we set up more regular practices and upgraded our curriculum the first time and built infrastructure, like, Jamie Haft, our executive director, and Jennifer Pelling and myself, like, trying to get things to settle down, and how do we serve our chapters better? And actually many of you walked with us through that and informed that growth. So thank you so much. And now, I feel like we're beginning to reach maturity as we focus on doing what we do in that deepened and expanded way. And that Yvette, our Chief Learning Officer, has really taken our infrastructure and processes and procedures and practices to the next level, as have our regional coaches. So for those of you who are newer to Circles USA, having regional coaches is new to us. So it's really a new level of care, and we are working on figuring that out. And if any of you have worked with nonprofits before, you know that building infrastructure and standard operating procedures, it is not glamorous work. There's no glamour shot. It doesn't look like anything is happening on the outside. I get it. But it is essential for us to be that stable organization for you. We want to be sustainable for the long haul, and we want to continue to give longevity awards at the next conference in 2025 and 2027 and so on. So we've really been working on that. So it's also important to consider right now, who are the leaders for this organization, and what are we going to do to support them? Scott Miller, our founder, always said, we have to embed the next generation of leaders for this movement to continue beyond ourselves. So in the national office, we've been working to shift this organization from being driven by personality to being driven by process. Or we We've expanded the national office to incorporate more champions from the field, and we will deepen our curriculum with more content aimed at leadership development. That was a key takeaway from the conference, that Circles is all about leadership development at every single level, every single person. And, this is another one of the slides where we could have taken a photo from almost every single chapter. When we think about the next generation of leadership, y'all just are amazing what you're doing in your local communities. So at this point in our organizational history, turning a corner on 25 years, I feel like we're ready to take the next steps in a bold and exciting way. And we're so glad we're doing this together. In fact, now, as some of you know, our Circles USA office has a full team to support you more. We have a new communications team that Courtney is leading, as amazing project manager. Thank you, Courtney. We just appreciate you so much. And she is coordinating the efforts of our writer, our graphic designer, our assistant, our social media specialist, to really upgrade how we're communicating the website, social media, and the blog posts, and then just all of that is really coming together in beautiful ways. Very grateful. And then also being able to hire a new national coach. So I've been seeing the shout outs in the chat already to Addie, but feel free to, give some more loving. There were a lot of people who applied for the coach position. So it was very just touching and difficult decision to make, so many applicants, but we're excited that, Addie is going to work part-time with Circles USA and then part-time locally in Florida, and really help us to shore up that relationship with the chapters. Yes, so proud. And we also have contracted with a new curriculum development specialist named Chris Alexander. So you might be connecting with her as we begin to get more and more feedback from our chapters related to our curriculum upgrade that's coming in 2024. So this really has been a year of deepening and expanding Circles, not only in what we do as a successful anti-poverty initiative, but in understanding who we are and how we function. So Circles USA really is a teaching organization offering the model, the messaging, the coaching, and the support of the community of practice to do the work. So I do feel like 2023 has given us great clarity around what's ours to do and what's next for Circles USA. Which brings us to the 2024 theme, the next chapter. I just love this theme. It works on so many levels. So what is the next chapter for Circles USA as we begin the next quarter century of our work in the anti-poverty arena? Perhaps that means at the local level, where might new chapters be born? Where might new locations be born out of veteran chapters? What does that expansion model look like? Or what are we learning from our 3 pilot sites in Tennessee and Maryland, or other chapters that are innovating? How do we incorporate those innovations into the model? What Big View campaigns may take on new life, especially with the national Big View team that is really cooking with gas now. In fact, if you want to join us in that national Big View team, let me know. We'd love to have you. And organizationally, what new partners will be written into this part of our history? There's a lot happening with partners right now, just very exciting news. So how do we get Circles more national visibility, engagement, activities, and funding? We don't want to be the best kept secret. We really want to get out there. So, the 3-year strategic plan. We looked at this last year. At this time, we are about a year into this 3-year strategic plan. There were 4 key areas that came forth to be known when we had a really powerful board retreat in the fall of 2022. So we are very committed to be change leaders, to be positively known and recognized for poverty alleviation and systemic change. We are committed to equity as central to what we do. So how do we improve the quality of and access to circles for all people? And I know, we are always learning and growing, not only as our model evolves, but as we as people evolve, that we are all learning and growing together. And that could lead, I hope, to expansion. More states, more chapters, more partnerships, more funding, more impact, but not a reaching beyond our means. We want to make sure the infrastructure is there for a mindful expansion that's, organic and healthy. That's very exciting to us. So if you were to take the entire strategic plan, 20 some pages, and put it on one slide, here it is. If I did red light, yellow light, green light, green light, that first row, these are things that are already either done or they're going very, very well. I already told you about the National Big View team, the advisory council, the core messaging update. Our national staff has done a lot of professional development and growth in the last year. I am so grateful and proud. Our leadership conference was beautiful. We are retaining and adding chapters, staff, and partners. Beautiful. That middle row where it's yellow, I'm going to talk about that on the next slide. So let's jump down to that bottom one that's in the red, which is just beginning stages. We're just dipping our toes into the pool, looking at, what our national events we could be at. I had a great meeting today with folks that are associated with the Community Action Network and, how do we present together in regions or across the nation? Very exciting. Is there a way for us to coordinate our Big View efforts more in the bootstrap states, in the benefit states? Who's got, legislations that are happening this year, next year? I would love to coordinate that. We know that the Spanish curriculum expansion really needs to happen, and hoping to weave that into our curriculum update that's just launched. Right now for our leadership conference in 2025, our goal in 2024 is to find the location. So make sure you give me a shout out if you're just curious what that means to host the conference. There are some very good perks. And then we are looking for more board members. So if you have suggestions of someone who would be an awesome board member for our National Circles USA board, please email me, and I would love to know more. And of course, we all are looking for more funding as always. So we're getting there. We're in the middle of this. So for 2024, there are some big goals. Circles USA has contracted with some DEI consultants in Albuquerque, and we are going to do some kind of behind the scenes learning and growing in the DEI arena. We don't want it to be like a performative one and done, check the box, but we know it'll be really good to look at what, to look at ourselves, to learn, to see what we are doing, aren't doing, just prepare the ground for this work, especially as it may, how can we weave what we learn into the curriculum upgrade, because diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, all of that is just so essential to the work that we're doing. So we're trying to proceed very mindfully through that. We're just starting that. And then we have our new communications team, and we are looking at how could we get more out in the public arena with enhanced marketing and communications, and maybe an upgraded website or podcasts and presentations. And could that result in 9 new chapters this year? It's a good goal. And of course, more regular donors. And you've already seen, we are expanding, our coaching practices, our chapter support. I really want that Big View coordination. We got to stair step our way to that systemic change on a national basis. I can see it. We're going to get there. And that curriculum upgrade, we know that we need to upgrade the courses we do have, add the courses we don't have, shift to more on-demand training, as opposed to how some of the trainings are delivered now. And then really consider, again, how diversity, equity, and inclusion can upgrade, expand, deepen what we're doing, and also the suggestions you all have given us, things we know that need to be improved. And then also, I'm going to, on the next slide, when we talk about partners, I'm going to talk about the science of hope. There's an exciting moment of learning that we can weave into this. We also have learning from the IDEOS Institute, who's another partner that I will talk about on the next slide. So we definitely want to weave together what we're learning into our curriculum and data to be able to do this work better. And I've already mentioned more presentations, partnering, funding. So in the partnership front, oh my goodness, so many wonderful partners. So yes, continuing to work with, LEAP Fund and the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta on cliff effect planning tools, coaching supports, looking at bridge plans. What would a bridge plan look like for Circle Leader? Like when you see the cliff coming, and then how do you put that together to get over and not just get pushed off the cliff? So we're going to keep you posted as we work on new tools. The IDEOS Institute, remember that this organization brings people together across difference to support healthy dialogues, to be able to create community-driven solutions, and to develop empathic intelligence for systems change. Wow. So we are in phase 3 of a grant with them, and this final phase is going to result in creating a Big View course for our chapters. So Big View teams, whether brand new or a veteran, will be able to take a Big View course and see a deepened explanation. Yeah, these are the steps when you're doing Big View. How does that work? So I'm excited about that. And then we are also partnering with Oklahoma University and their department, the Science of Hope, and quantitative psychologist, Dr. Evie Trevino. And we'll work on telling you more about the science of hope, but it's a very concrete science with very concrete language and exact things that you can measure. So it will be really interesting to see how that gets woven into the curriculum and how we do what we do. It also might really add scaffolding to the matched circle when allies and circle leaders are working together, and like, what happens when we get stuck? Oh, there's wonderful stuff there. So I'm just so excited. We're going to work on being able to communicate all these wonderful things to you. Probably have a webinar that will be specifically on this. Also, I'm very excited to see what might happen with Bread for the World. They are a 504 committed to ending childhood hunger, but we have such similar missions, and they're a 504, so they can advocate and lobby in just amazing ways that 503s may not be able to do. So that alignment is really powerful. And Bread is turning 50 this year. They have a huge history and organizers all across the United States and in DC. So really looking forward to finding ways to partner with them this year. And other partners like the Community Action Partnership, they're turning 60 this year. And we just had a great meeting today, getting ideas together about how to partner together more, or like United Methodist Church or Catholic Charities or Family Promise. Like, how do we get support materials and presentations and one-pagers and talking points together? Because there are a lot of federated nonprofits that are working in similar arenas. I know we could get that symbiotic relationship going. And we have a few chapters that are forerunners in that field, like with Family Promise and United Methodist Church and Catholic Charities. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that and seeing how we could foster those relationships. And we're going to continue to partner with Lisa Spector Dunway to present more in a nonprofit series, like fundraising and collaboration and partnership development and legacy planning and things like that. And we also, in fact, this is so hot off the presses, I don't even have a symbol for this on this page, but we also are continuing to work with the folks at the University of Western Australia and the Oregon Health and Science University. Oh, I said it right. They just released a scholarly journal article about circles. They analyzed almost 3,000 pieces of data from Circles USA, and there's just a great article that came out. So we're going to work on releasing that article and analyzing the findings and seeing how that directs our sales here. And then they've also said, oh, we're interested in doing more research with you. Yes, please. So we're excited about that partnership. And maybe, like the Kellogg School of Business might happen as well. We presented to them last summer with some research scientists, and they're hoping to follow up this year. So, just lots of wonderful things in the works. So we're excited to enter into this next chapter of Circles USA, and it's also an interesting time for you to consider what is the next chapter for you at your chapter. So I'm gonna stop sharing my slide now and take a good drink of water. So this is a good time, everyone take a drink of water and see if there's any questions that I might be able to answer. All right, and you're welcome to put a question in the chat. You could put a question in the Q&A. Anything that would be helpful for you right now. Oh, thank you, Christina. So there was a question about what is the on-demand training? Yes. So one of the things that we've been noticing, and actually this has been, for quite some time, that what used to be called hands-on training and is now called virtual intensive training tends to be like drinking from the fire hose. We're just going to tell you everything all at once, and then it's a lot to take in, and we're realizing, well, you don't need all that until you need it. You don't need it until you need it. And then trying to go back and find it, and it just gets a little tricky. So we're trying to consider what of virtual intensive training could be more on demand as you need it. Like, could we make more online trainings that could be the asynchronous learning, but we also don't want to lose the beautiful heart connections and like the deep work that happens when we're together in a room, because virtual intensive training or hands-on training when it's in person, there's amazing bonding and connections and sharing that happens with that too. So we're trying to find the middle ground of that. So, and also, making a coaches training and making a coordinators training, and how do we get the exact things that would be incredibly helpful for you. So if any of you have feedback or suggestions on that, please send it to me, because we are just gathering everything. We have been actually for the last 5 years, we've been cataloging everything that people have been suggesting. And then our curriculum development specialist is going to synthesize and pull that together. And we're going to be upgrading and beta testing, what organizations normally do. And then the goal is that by January of 2025, when you start your new cohort, we will have new materials, and we'll have to see like how soon can we roll things out in a mindful way. So any other questions or things that would be helpful for you right now? I have my beautiful water bottle from Pathways to Prosperity and Palm Beach County Circles. Thank you very much. All right. Okay, well, if we're coming to closure here, that is fantastic too. Or if you think of a question later, I know it's a little high pressure like the doctor's office, so you might think of it after this is over. So if you think of something later, just send an email and we can answer those questions as well. And I just want to give one more appreciation, not only for the national office and our regional coaches and our contractors. Oh my gosh, we just have amazing people who work for Circles USA, and also all you all that are working in the fields. We could not do this without you. You are it. You are what makes this work. So I can't thank you enough for all that you share with the national office and everything that you're doing in your community to build community to end poverty. So thank you so very much. Take really good care of yourself. Keep going and keep drinking your water, y'all. All right. Take care. Thank you so very much.